Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into Dr. Kevin Leman's really heartfelt guide for fathers, and we're going to be exploring that unique, powerful, and sometimes complicated relationship between a dad and his daughter.
So Dr. Leman kicks things off with a moment I think a lot of dads can probably relate to. He's coaching his daughter's basketball team, right? She comes to him, she's upset, and he drops this classic line. It just perfectly captures that communication gap that sometimes feels more like a canyon between fathers and daughters.
So where does that gap even come from? Well, it really starts with understanding one fundamental truth. Dads and daughters are often wired completely differently. And hey, that's not a flaw, it's just a fact of life. Dr. Leman has this great, simple analogy for it: juggling apples. He says men, we tend to focus on one apple at a time. We're very single-task oriented. Women, on the other hand, are often juggling 3, 4, 5 apples at once. Now, this basic difference in how we process the world, well, it can lead to some pretty interesting situations. Like the time he took his daughter to New York City. He had this logical, simple plan. Drop her at Bloomingdale's, meet at the restaurant at a specific time. Easy, right? Except he didn't realize there are multiple restaurants. What happened next was 2 hours of frantic searching, a missed plane, and a very, very stressed out wife on the other end of the phone. It was just a perfect storm of miscommunication, all born from these different thinking styles. But here's the thing. These differences, they aren't a weakness. In fact, Dr. Leman argues that a dad's unique way of thinking is actually his greatest strength. It's all about leaning in to what makes you, well, you. Okay, take the infamous garden hose incident. So picture this. He's faced with an absolutely epic diaper blowout, and there's no instruction manual. So Dr. Leman did the logical dad thing. He took his daughter out into the backyard and just hosed her off. I mean, it's a hilarious example of a dad's problem-solving in action. Maybe not how mom would have done it, but hey, the job got done. And this really gets to the heart of a dad's role. See, these core functions are practically built into your DNA. You are hardwired to be the protector, the defender, and the problem solver. You provide a unique kind of security that only a father can. This quote, man, it says it all. He was flying all the way across the country just to chaperone his daughter on her own flight back home, and a flight attendant suggested he could have just paid a fee for that. His response just powerfully illustrates how irreplaceable your role is. It's a duty, and it's a privilege that belongs to you and you alone. But using that strength effectively, well, that requires balance. It means you've got to navigate the really fine line of parenting and avoid some of the most common traps. So on one end of the spectrum, you've got the authoritarian, the my way or the highway dad. His need for absolute control, it just pushes his daughter away. As Dr. Leman points out, grimly, juvenile detention cells are full of girls who all say the same thing: my dad never listened. And then on the complete other side, you've got the permissive parent. This is the dad who avoids conflict no matter what. He's the fixer. But in doing that, he accidentally creates a kid whose every whim holds the entire family hostage because she's learned that she's the center of the universe. The goal, of course, is to land right in that sweet spot in the middle, to be the authoritative parent. This is the balanced leader who provides firm guidance, sets clear boundaries, but does it all on a foundation of unconditional love and respect. But guidance isn't just about rules and discipline. The most powerful, the most lasting connections, they're actually built in the small, seemingly insignificant moments of everyday life. Dr. Leman uses this really lovely analogy of ducks on a pond. So to an outsider, all the little ducklings look the same. But the parent ducks, they know each one of their own individually. He says his 4 daughters are all Lemans through and through, but not a single one is like the other. The real trick of fatherhood is to know each of your ducklings and what makes them tick. And this story from his daughter Hannah it's so powerful. Her basketball team won a huge championship, but the celebration was after midnight. Her mom said, nope, too late. But her dad, he woke her up anyway. That small act of rebellion, that just us moment, it became one of the most cherished memories of her entire childhood. And this really proves it's not about big, grand, expensive gestures. It's about the consistent, personal moments that just say, I see you. A favorite pastry waiting on the table, a surprise visit when you know your kid is lonely at college. These are the things that make a daughter feel truly, truly seen and prized. And ultimately, all of these small moments, all these little acts of love and understanding, they all add up to create your legacy, that indelible imprint that you leave on your daughter's heart. Dr. Leman shares this one story that illustrates this with just incredible urgency. It's about a father, Mr. Williams, who has a heart attack. And the thing is, he and his daughter Janie hadn't spoken in nearly a year after a terrible, terrible fight.
So, as he lay there in the hospital, knowing his time was short, he didn't think about his career or his accomplishments. He just asked for a piece of paper and a pencil. And moments after writing a short note, he passed away.
His daughter arrived just a little too late to see him. But the nurse handed her the note. In his final moments, his entire legacy was boiled down into these few powerful sentences. And that simple expression of love and forgiveness, it totally transformed his daughter's grief into peace.
And that, right there, really is the core message. In the long run, it is not about your achievements or the things you do. It's about who you are, the presence you have in her life, and the unwavering love you show. That is what truly matters.
So, the final takeaway really just leaves us with this one question to think about. What will be your indelible imprint? What are the moments, big and small, the late-night celebrations, the funny garden hose solutions, the simple notes of forgiveness that are going to make up the beautiful story you leave behind for?